Okay, I am here. I did not get to stream yesterday because I was bogged down with taxes for 3 hours, which was oh so much fun. My brain is not working today. Okay, so today I am going to just be tinkering around a brand new program that is not available for public release yet, but it was available for people who joined the wait list, which I did several weeks ago, and so I've got my hands on it, and I am about to just I started tinkering with it a little bit yesterday. There was a bit of a glitch issue where the link I was sent didn't work, and so I had to contact the team, and I ended up in communication with the actual creator of Atticus, which is Dave Chesson, I believe is his name. And so I asked him, or I explained that I stream on Twitch and that I do it fairly regularly, and I'm actually starting to write a novel, so it just happens to come at the right moment in time. If I could show this on my stream, even though it's not publicly available yet, I just wanted to ask just to make sure, because I know from the email that was sent, it's supposed to be very hush hush, that a group of us are getting access to the beta version. Basically, that's I would consider this a beta version, even though they're probably not really calling it that right now. It's just really a soft release. But from the little bit of tinkering that I did yesterday, it's going to obviously need a lot of work to get done. But here is basically their main page, and but in order to get actual access, there's a different link, and so I'm about to go to it right now. I actually bookmarked it. Oh, didn't I bookmark it? Oh, maybe I did not bookmark it. Hold on a second. I thought I did. Hold on, I'm just trying to locate the link, which apparently I thought I had, but okay, that's what it is. Okay, I don't know why that didn't get saved. we go. So this is how it starts up. This is a program that is currently online, which I like, but only if there's an actual app that goes separate with it. Now, technically, there is and there isn't an actual app for your desktop. The issue with the app is that it requires Google Chrome in order to function. So it's not really a standalone app. It's kind of like an app that you create. If you're in Google Chrome, you can push this button or whatever in the in the bar, and you can say, download the app for this. And so I technically, while I have an app for it, I have to have Google Chrome open in order for the app to work. So that's why I say it's a yes and a no for the app situation. But when you start, basically, you would just have like these two things here. You wouldn't actually have anything else here. And like I said, I started tinkering with it yesterday, so I already have where I started with RR01, but there's been a few glitches. For starters, I keep uploading the image. Now, I don't know if the image has to be a certain dimensions, and that's why it's not accepting it. I'm gonna try doing it again today to show it. Something else that I noticed is it's kind of all left aligned, leaving all of this space over here. Now, this space is functional if, for instance, you're in the formatting area, because you end up with, this on the right hand side, which again doesn't fill the screen, but it fills it enough. So I wish there was a way to make that a bit better. But let me start by saying what Atticus is supposed to do. It's supposed to be taking the place of, or being a substitution for certain writing programs and certain formatting programs. So for the writing aspect, it's supposed to be taking the place of Scrivener. Now that's a huge mountain to climb, because as we all know, Scrivener does so much. And one of the main things that Scrivener does, that few other programs do, is allow you to have all of your research and all of these extra bits that you would normally have in notes or in several different programs and apps. You can have it all in one place. Images, or anything you can think of, you can have it all in the same program where you're writing. So Atticus is supposed to be bringing something like that to the table. They don't have it yet, so I can't speak on whether or not it will be able to really beat a program like Scrivener yet. But I have been assured that in the coming months they will be dropping a lot of updates and a lot of features that are just not available today, but they will be. And I believe one of those key features is this area here that I currently have in Scrivener, which is the ability to have all of these notes here and accessible. If they're going to be using the screen real estate that they currently have right now, meaning that I'll be able to do a split view, so I'll be able to have, my research and notes and outline information on the left, and then, the actual document that I'm writing on the right. That would be great. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. I don't know. Like right now, this is how I can view it. If I wanted to, I can view it with, and I'm not sure why it's not letting me extend this when it's extending, but okay. Like I said, there's still a lot of glitches, and so I'm giving it a lot of the benefit of the doubt here. But so far, all I can really do for this is have the front matter, the body, meaning the chapters, and then the back matter. So, and some of another glitch that I noticed is when I tried to add some back matter, it wasn't actually showing. So if before I tried to add, it's still not working. Where I tried to add like about the author, or or acknowledgements. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here, but clicking here and trying to get that information to show up is not working. Now for the front matter, it works. So if I were to click introduction, boom, introduction shows up. But for whatever reason, anything I try to load for the back matter is just not functioning. And it's not actually loading it. So a little frustrating there, but again, I'm sure that they're going to fix it. Again, I can convert it to about the author, and then let me see if it'll let me drag it down here. It does, so I'm wondering if now that I'm able to drag something down there, if this function will work. No, it still doesn't, to be able to add different pages. So a workaround would be I would add a front matter thing up here, and then I would convert it to what I want the back matter page to be, and then move it down here. But do I want to be doing all that kind of workaround? Not really. So I'm, fingers crossed, hoping that that's one of the bugs that they fix. Now, another one that I kept noticing is over here when I would try to add some details, like for instance, adding a subtitle. Okay, I'm met with a save button. I was not met with a save button before, and I was assuming that there should have been a save button here, and there wasn't, so I'm glad to see that it's here now. I can also add this publisher stuff, which also was not here yesterday. So let's see if I add things like the cover and such, if it's actually going to work now. Because like I said, these things were not here before. And it was a little frustrating because I knew there should have been a save button, and I was wondering, like, because before what I would see is up on the right hand side, if I were writing in the actual chapters, I would see the words saving and then save. So I assumed it was just automatic, and that's why I wasn't seeing a save button. But now that there is one, I am pleased with that. One thing I was also trying to do was like turn the page on the actual image of, like, for instance, right now it's on Galaxy Tab 7. I did not see a function or an ability to do that, so we'll check and see if that's there now. But first I want to add my publisher logo to this area, if I could just remember where it is. Yeah, I think this is where it is. Yeah, like right here, here's another bit of a typo. It says publisher twice. So let's save this. Now, my assumption is if I go home, I will see this cover in place of, everything that's there. So I'm hitting save. I can't say for sure if it's actually saving it because it's doing it so quickly. Let me change the language to English again. But yeah, like I said here, I don't see a feature or an ability to change the pages here, because I would love to be able to change the page to look at the first page to see that my image is actually populating, and there's nothing here that I'm able to see that will show me that. I can change the size of the font and all of these fancy things, but how do I turn the page? I don't know. Ah, it's there now. Okay, so that's what I was assuming would or should actually happen when I'm here, that I would see my cover here. So, A+ on them for fixing that. I'm happy with that. But like I said, I would really love it if I could see, let's go to the iPhone here, if I were able to just move these pages myself. I mean, like right here, I've got table of contents here, but why can't I see it here? Like, what is happening here? And again, I'm hoping this is just some of those little things that they're going to um, eventually fix. And also maybe having something here where I can stretch this bar out if I want and change it or do a split view, either horizontal or vertical, so that I can show notes that I'm taking, or rename it to whatever I want, and then etc., etc. So that would be helpful as well. I did designate this chapter as the prologue. Not sure what difference that may or may not make. And I was trying to... There was an area here somewhere where I was able to say I didn't want subtitles, but I gotta say I can't remember where that was. Just give me a minute, see if I can try to remember where that was. Oh, it's right here. Okay. So here they have a bunch of options and things. Now I unchecked subtitle, and I think what it means is I would still see subtitle in the chapter, but it just will no longer be visible here on the screen. And I also wish it would save and remember which option I'm picking to view, because that's kind of annoying. So I can add an ornamental break, whatever ornamental break I want. So these are just some options they give me, but I can add whatever I want. Now for the header and footer, obviously this is very important, because when you do the print version, there's a certain way in which you may want it to be. They had the option that I use, which is putting my author name at the top and the title at the top and centered, and then the page numbers under at the bottom, again centered. So every single option you could possibly think of is basically here for you to choose from. And then they have a bunch of print settings, especially the paper trim size is also here. And they tell you which ones are the most popular, some additional ones, some international sizes, and some of the mass market paperback options as well, which is good to know. And so what I was working on yesterday, which was, fairly easy peasy, was basically just having Scrivener open on one side and having Atticus open here, and literally just copying all the chapters. So my goal or my plan here, which I don't foresee changing or throwing me off, is I am going to use Scrivener to write each chapter. But I am then going to copy and paste each chapter into Atticus and see what it looks like and how easily it formats it. Do an example of exporting it either as both as an EPUB and a PDF. Now the reason why I'm doing that is because this is beta, and so I have noticed a lot of issues with, for instance, saving. So the last thing I want to do is use this program to actually write my work. And that's not a dig against, this program. It's just that, let me go to content. It's just that I want to make sure that I'm not going to lose anything that I'm writing, because I can't afford to do that. I really need to be able to be full steam ahead. But I will check back here if they should send an email or what have you, saying they've updated some new features and things. So I will obviously check back here every time that's the case, so that I can test it out. I'm going to forego doing a first impressions on this, again, because it is beta. I was considering doing a first impressions regardless, and just putting the caveat over and over and over again that this is not the final program, so it is very, very glitchy. But I don't think that would do, I feel like that would do a disservice to the program for me to do that, knowing that there's just so many issues that I just feel like it wouldn't be fair to put it through paces like that. So I'm not going to. but the thought to do it is there. So let's do these chapters. I mean, I can already see by the way the layout is and stuff like this. It's easy on the eyes. I like it. They are going to have a dark mode. I know that that is one of the features that they are working on currently. And there is a link that I can go to um, where I can show what they're working on, what they've completed and updated and added, and what is coming down the pipeline. Um, so that's, you know, something else. I mean, and again, I'm sure that they're going to fix this, is if I have a setting a certain way, such as don't have the chapters numbered, then I wish when I clicked add chapter that it would just add, you know, chapter 3, chapter 4, and it would not do the whole like number one thing. So I constantly have to hit this and say numbered. That I wish it would remember what I'm doing each time, so that I could literally just click add chapter, or that there's eventually going to be a shortcut key that I can hit that will add a chapter, but again that it won't have like 1 point and then whatever. I mean, to me, I feel like a numbered chapter like that is something that's used so infrequently for fiction writers, maybe for nonfiction writers, that I feel like the default should be without it being numbered, and if you want it numbered, that you make that selection. Okay, let's continue. Now, similar to Vellum, there are limitations to fonts and things, which I find a bit frustrating, because I want to be able to have my own design work when I do the print version. So similar to Vellum, that is one flaw that I think Atticus is probably also going to have. And I'm not sure if that's because these programs don't want to be able to give you the option to use whatever font you want in your font library, such as Word, Wood, or even Scrivener allows me to use whatever font is in my library. So I fear that while I love the idea of taking things that were in Vellum and, you know, in Scrivener and combining them is going to be great when I do my EPUB files, it's not going to help me to do my print files. I'm likely still going to have to export it as a and I'm not even sure I can export as a Word document. I know I can export as a EPUB and a PDF, but I think they are putting the feature to export as a Word document, so that I can then take that and import it into InDesign and do what I normally would do in there. I was hopeful that this would give me much more font options, or at least give me the option to get access to my font library, because that would just be the icing on the cake there, and I feel like I would now also not need to use InDesign. So for me, I'm looking to see how many of the programs that the gamuts of programs that I go through, is this one going to take the place of. My typical work is, when I wasn't using Scrivener, is I would use Word, Vellum, InDesign. Vellum for ebooks, InDesign for print books. Now, using Scrivener, honestly, I could just use Scrivener and export an EPUB file and export a PDF file that I then upload into Amazon and have my print book. So really, Scrivener has made it so I no longer need to use a program like Vellum or InDesign. Is Atticus going to do something similar? The only way is if I'm able to access my font library, and until I am, I feel like it's going to fall short there. Whereas with Scrivener, I can access oh, I don't have actual. Show me a thing so that I can prove my point here. So clicking here in font, basically I have access, like this is my entire font library, and I can click, show fonts, and it'll basically open up, like I said, my font library and show all the fonts that I have here that I basically have access to, because what Scrivener does is here is really just all of the fonts that I've used and all the ones that they find to be the most used, but that doesn't mean that's all the fonts that I have access to. I actually have access to my entire font library, which basically means I can export this the way I would in InDesign, having it all formatted nice and sweet, and I don't even have to go into InDesign to do anything. Pretty sweet deal, right? Now, technically, if I were to, according to Atticus, and I'm wondering if I should test this, if I were to export what I have in Scrivener as a Word document and then import that Word document into here, it would read all of my chapter headings as chapter headings and put them here. But I'm wondering if it would actually number them the way it's been numbering them every time I click add a chapter, because that would be a shame. Okay. And whilst I'm thinking about it, I start writing in, not counting today, 4 days. Very exciting. Very exciting. Okay. I'm actually starving, so I may consider this a lost hope stream and just go get food. Because I'm starving. Oh good, my Google site kit thing is working. There we go. I don't think I have a image for this, and it is going to be going up tomorrow. I have for these two, I think I did the vomit draft. Did I do? does this say I still have 2 plugins to update? I just updated them. Okay. Making me think I'm going crazy. So let's look at doing a little bit of work before I sign off here. Oh, yeah, okay. I don't have vomit draft and I don't have the other one. So let's do that so that way next week I don't have to worry about it. I almost want to switch these two. Let's do it. Let's have this one come out on the 19th. And then we'll have the Alpha Beta Gamma one come out tomorrow on the 14th. this is gonna be gross, I would imagine. I'm leaning towards crocodile. I don't know if I really want a bright green. Or maybe let's try. How's that? Too big. Let's center it. Where's the sensor? There it goes. I think black might be too harsh. Let's try a gray. I think this one might actually look a bit better. This one looks too cartoony. I know the other one looks probably more like paint than anything else, but I just like it better. Too big. Let's shrink it again. And I want to turn it slightly so that it's kind of like this. I don't think I'm able to censor it now that I did that. Is it not working? So, hold on. This thing is crashing on me. There we go. Okay, after this, I am going to head downstairs and spend the rest of the day down there hanging out. What is happening? Oh, I think I just realized why that drop down is there, so that whatever I upload, it will put it automatically in that folder. Interesting. I don't think I have a featured image folder, do I? Oh, I do. I don't know why it's not showing up there, but okay. I'm calling it quits, throwing in the towel. Thursdays is just really not my days to be streaming. I think I just have to admit that to myself, at least while I have nothing really on my docket to do. So, I will be on tomorrow. I will be probably on Saturday. And Monday I start writing chapter one. My goal is to just write one chapter a day, I think. That's how I've plotted it out for myself. 3,000 words a day, 1,000 words per hour, 45-minute sprints each hour with a 15-minute break after each 45-minute sprint. So that's what's coming up in the next 4 days. In the meantime, enjoy your Thursday.